You're watching Statist with me, Pratibha Raman, and our statist for this week is a person who absolutely has no bones, and I'll tell you why. Because he is an amazing dancer. Prakyat Shri is here with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Prakyat. But then, my first question: where are your bones?
Apparently in my body. Yeah. So
So, how did you really get initiated into this style of dancing, and how did you really perfect it to this extent?
so to learn this, I'd like to go back to the time I started dancing, and that was when I was in first grade. So as a kid, all of us just enjoy dancing, right? All of us just want to be free, just want to do what we like to do. And I was exposed to dancing first as Michael Jackson, obviously. So all of us started as Michael Jackson, and I got into dancing not like professionally. I just thought of it as something fun, as something recreational. But it's only when I came to when I did my PUC, my college, 11th and 12th, that's when I really took up this dance style. So I was part of a dance team here, and we had a routine where it included this style called crump. That's a style I do right now. So and I found that I could do this style really well because I had a lot of energy in me. So I was told by my friends to take it up and to go ahead and pursue it. So yeah, I just took it up and continued practicing in it, and here I am.
That it's lovely to actually see this kind of dedication, because are there really such kind of instructors or tutors here in Bangalore? Do you see this style of art being taught?
Uh, Actually, crump is a comparatively new style. I mean, even around the world, crump crump was created in the early 2000s, around 2001 or 2002, but crump is such a style where it is the fastest growing dance style in the world right now. And in fact, in India, it's part of the underground scene, it's part of the street scene, and there are many crumpers out here. In fact, that you'll be surprised as to how many people actually take up this style. The problem is no one really knows about the style that much. That's why they don't know about the dances too, right? So there are like a number of us. Like we have a whole community here, and we keep meeting up for sessions and everything. Yeah, and we have different battles and everything happening in Bangalore.
Yeah, look at our planet, I have my hand in. Look at I got these niggas acting up. Something in the land where niggas run the planet, and everybody packing up.
I've only seen it in movies where you have movies like Street Dancer and stuff. But does it actually happen on the streets of Bangalore?
Surprisingly, it happens a lot. Like we can't have it on streets, obviously, but we have it in like studios, in these studios, and in fact, every weekend there will be a battle happening somewhere around Bangalore, and if you'll find people practicing in the parks and everything. These are the people like who actually come for the battle scene. So if you see these reality shows, the dancers who come in the reality shows, all of them have started dancing from these battles. They have started their careers, you can say, from the battle scene, from the underground scene, and they've gone up to the reality show scene.
But your personal journey, Prakyat, when you really started off as a dancer and you wanted to take this up as a profession, how did your family react? Did they have this kind of hesitation, concern?
Yes. So when I started off, my dad used to dance.
Oh,
So I got it from him, and so he used to teach me in the beginning. And then when I started doing my own dancing, I mean, he never took it seriously, right? He never took it as a profession. But for me, it's a little more serious. For me, I've taken it up as not as a hobby. It's more than a hobby now. I as you said, I've taken up more like a profession now. They weren't supportive. I mean, they still aren't supportive because obviously, I mean, in a country like India, I mean, a profession like dancing is not really seen as a profession. It's seen more like a hobby. It's seen as something like you can do as a recreational purpose, right?
True.
So I mean, they're still not accepting it. But then when I now it's a little more free. Now when I stand up on my own 2 feet and go take part in competitions, I mean, as long as I'm doing my college work and other work simultaneously, right? As long as there's a balance. So I think then it's fine.
I guess it's kind of inculcated in all of us, you do your
That's
engineering
true.
or you do your medical
That's
degree and
true.
do this on the side.
Yes,
But
very sure. Very true.
when it also comes to, taking it up as a profession, are there challenges here, hailing from India as compared to other countries?
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges, especially in India. Now that the scene is growing now, it's not a very mature scene. Mature as in it's very risky. Like you can do well, you'll either do well or you not do well at all. It's not a very stable profession as such. And compared to other countries, take for example, not US. US is take for example France. French dance is one of the best in the world, especially in the underground scene. And these people actually recognize it as a profession. These people take more workshops, they take more classes. Whereas here, they do it as a side job, right? It's not seen as a proper job. So it is more challenging here. I feel the problem is more with the society than the dancers. The way the whole system is built, I feel it's more of a society problem than a personal problem. Yeah.
Are you a fan of Red Bull? Because most of your videos, I see one Red Bull can right in the front
Red Bull can.
before you start dancing. So are you a fan of that?
I like consuming it. I'm not a big fan of it, but then like we have different ambassadors in our college and from outside, and these ambassadors usually Red Bull is associated with dancing and everything. So there is this b-boying competition called Red Bull BC1, and it happens every year in different countries. And I think 2019 or 2020, I'm not sure. It happened in India.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like that Red Bull usually associates themselves with these artists, especially dancers, and so they like to market their brand with dancers. So that's why I have been approached by different Red Bull ambassadors for it, and I thought, okay, yeah, why not?
That's nice.
I'm getting free Red Bull.
DJ Khaled. I got the keys. I got the keys. I got the keys. I got the keys.
You've been born and bred in Bangalore, right? So what about Bangalore do you really like the most? What is the aspect of Bangalore that is very close to your heart?
As in related to dancing?
Either related to dancing or even otherwise.
Bangalore, I feel, is a very open community. It's a very open compared to other states. I mean, I haven't been to the other states. When it comes to dancing, I haven't been to other states. But what I honestly have heard and I feel is that Bangalore is more open, and there are more people here like who come and witness your style. There's more opportunity in Bangalore.
Right.
So yeah, and as a whole, I mean, I've been living in Bangalore all my life, so I'm so used to the culture. I mean, yeah, I'm so used to the culture here. I'm so used to the practices here, and I feel Bangalore people learn to communicate better. I mean, we've been open to a very vast society, right? We have a lot of cultures here. So when we talk to other people, I feel we understand people better when we are from Bangalore. Yeah.
My final question to you. Most artists talk about freedom of expression being one of those key issues that has to be debated in the entire country. You as an artist, what do you feel about this? And do you feel that there is any particular issue that India needs to debate on?
Okay, so that is a really good question. I mean, it hits close to me because so I'll explain a little bit about Krump and as to why this question is important to me as a Krumper.
Okay.
So Krump is this dance style. Krump is an acronym actually. It stands for Kingdom, Radical Upliftment, Might and Praise. Okay, and the founders of Krump, their stage names are called Tighties and Big Mio. So these guys were Black Americans who've started crumping in a church as a way of expressing their voice against police brutality or any oppression. So they started. That's why if you see crump is a very expressive style. I wouldn't call it aggressive. I'd call it expressive. Because there's a lot of emotion when you dance, when you crump. So me as a crumper, I feel me being expressive towards stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we express when we dance, and one of them is obviously like what upliftment to other dancers. Upliftment. I feel as a dancer, I feel there's very less credit given to dancers in the underground scene. I'm not taking anything from the reality show scene because they have the thing set. But when you come to underground dancers, that's where you see the actual culture there. And there's a lot of, difference shown to the underground scene when it comes to this. So yeah, one is that. As a dancer, I would say that. I mean, other than that, there are a lot of issues out there that we'd like to portray through our art. But then, yeah, this one just hit me in my mind, so I just had to say it out.
So do you feel that freedom of expression still needs to be opened up?
That's true. We need little more openness, little more. People should be more open-minded to art, to these talents out there. I mean, I feel people shouldn't just see it as a recreational thing, as a person who's just doing it for fun. And people should actually notice it for its art, for its true meaning, for its true value.
Thank you so much, Prakyat, for joining us today. And
Thank you so much for having me.
Really continue to create a niche for itself.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.